Squalo and Tiziano were a pair of villains from the 5th part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind, a pair of villains that I feel go underappreciated and lack the praise of the other villain pairs within the part, like Prosciutto and Pesci and Cioccolata and Secco. These minor villain tag teams always make for an interesting arc, as there is only a few in each part, and there is always some sort of duality between the characters, each pair having a different type of relationship with their partner. Looking specifically at part 5, Prosciutto and Pesci had a strong sibling and brotherly relationship, while Cioccolata and Secco had more of a distant master and slave type relationship, Cioccolata sadistically treating Secco as his pet more so than a comrade. But when it came to Squalo and Tiziano, their relationship was more mutual than anything we had ever seen before, and still throughout the entire series, I believe. We never saw either of the two assert their dominance over the other or blame the other for mistakes made, unlike a lot of the other pairings within the series. Squalo and Tiziano supported each other and helped each other overcome their faults, much like a couple would. And I believe that the ambiguity of Squalo and Tiziano's relationship was deliberately written and illustrated to be interpreted to some as them being lovers, and let the reader decide the nature of their relationship. As fans of JoJo, we are all aware of the series' promiscuous and androgynous character designs and illustrations of those characters that can leave readers with unintentional sexual implications, when most of this can be attributed to the series' creator Hirohiko Araki's love for fashion and gender-bending musicians and actors. So what I'm trying to say here, in the best way possible, is that people think JoJo is gay. When, yeah, the series is kinda gay, and that's something I love about it. But back to Squalo and Tiziano, I don't think their relationship falls under the umbrella of heterosexual characters being labeled as homosexual because of their designs. I think that they were intentionally created to be a homosexual couple as well as badass gangsters. I mean, it's not like we didn't already have a gay couple in the part, which was confirmed by Araki, being Gelato and Sorbet, two members of La Squadra, who died before the events of part 5, after their attempt to uncover the boss's identity. But the nature of Squalo and Tiziano's relationship and how them being lovers actually made them better villains and better characters was just one of the many things that made this arc, in my opinion, one of the best in the part. Which is something I never thought I would say, as I used to not like this arc, and when people would ask me, what is your least favorite arc in part 5, I would usually go to Clash and Talking Head. It's just because I didn't appreciate it at the time. My first time reading through this arc, I wasn't fully invested in the enemy characters and their stands, as the first time we saw Tiziano and Squalo, they looked pretty generic. I swear, Squalo still just looks like a redesign of Sale, I believe his name was, or Salt from earlier. Craftworks user, you guys know him. And I'm sure we've all been there before when you're catching up to JoJo and you have so much ahead of you, and you're introduced to a new arc, and in the first chapter, you don't really like the stand's ability, and you think it's kind of lame, and you just think to yourself, oh, I have to deal with these stands for the next 6 to 12 to maybe even 13 chapters, and you just kind of gotta drag yourself through it. So not being fully invested in the arc, I just interpreted Squalo and Tiziano's relationship as being generic members of Passion that work together. Advice to anyone catching up to JoJo, take your time and enjoy each and every arc, as they all have something unique to offer. I've learned that over and over again each time I go back and reread. But it doesn't help that the Clash and Talking Head arc immediately followed the first encounter with Diavolo, which was objectively the most intense arc of the part at the time, and the first time we saw the main villain stand. So it made a teleporting shark and a little octopus that makes you only tell lies feel a bit underwhelming. But remember that Squalo and Tiziano were the introduction to a new group in the part, Diavolo's Guard, the elite few chosen specifically as the boss's last line of defense. So although they didn't have the most powerful stands we've seen before, they were good examples of no matter a stand's ability, all are dangerous, and the two stands that have absolutely nothing to do with each other actually complemented one another well. Talking Head having Narancia accidentally line and luring the game towards areas that Clash would be able to attack, showing that when it comes to high-ranking members within Passion, power isn't everything, and it's about how you use your stand. And this premise makes up a majority of the arc, Narancia being affected by Talking Heads just moving the game in directions where Clash would be able to attack, until it switches over to the classic Find the Stand user, where Narancia is all that's left and he needs to use his Aerosmith's detection ability to find the stand user with uneasy breath. So Narancia has already damaged Clash, so in turn he had to have damaged the stand user as well, as for 90% of stands damage transfers. So he's using Aerosmith's detection ability to find someone who has uneasy breath to determine who is injured in the area. but there's people playing football, people are, you know, running around, having a busy life in the city, so he's not exactly able to pinpoint who it is. So he comes up with the idea that is badass, brave, stupid, and smart, all at the same time. He bites off his own tongue to find out who is specifically watching him, and would have an uneasy reaction seeing him do this, considering their stand is inside his mouth. And after Narancia confronts Squalo and Tiziano, the arc closes off in one of the most beautiful moments of the entire part. Tiziano jumping into the line of Aerosmith's fire to protect Squalo, and gives Squalo a final opportunity to attack with Clash by using Tiziano's own blood. And because of Tiziano's sacrifice, we see Squalo reveal how he truly feels about his partner. And as he swears to take revenge, we realize that these two were much more than just comrades. So although this arc in general slowed down the pace of the part, it had pretty much everything JoJo has to offer. Comedic interactions between the main cast, bizarre and unique stand abilities, very well written minor villains, lots of blood, lots of poses, legendary musical references, and references to Western film. Because if anyone tries to tell me Talking Head's ability isn't a twist on the movie Liar Liar, you are a liar. So in conclusion, this video was my appreciation post for the arc Clash and Talking Head, and it also gave me an opportunity to take a deeper look at the relationship between Squalo and Tiziano, and identify them as really the first couple pair of enemy stand users we have seen in the series before that worked extremely well, which honestly makes them some of my favorite minor villains in the series. When you go back and reread the arc and see how they talk to each other and the way they react to things with the mindset that they are a couple and that they are lovers, it really changes your perspective of the arc and just them as characters. So this arc, more so than a lot of the other ones, I think really benefits from a reread, because again, it's not really until the end of the arc that it clicks that, oh, these guys were fucking. So hopefully this video lets you enjoy these characters more so than you would have otherwise. And hopefully their names are brought up more when people talk about great minor villains in JoJo, because I really feel like they're neglected, and I don't find anyone talking about them when we're talking about part 5 or just minor villains in general. So thank you all for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Like if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more content like this, as a majority of my content is based around the manga series JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So again, thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.